The best days of teaching for me are when I'm teaching project-based Storypath. Storypath is a pathway to learning that uses the components of story, setting, characters, and plot to organize curriculum into meaningful and memorable learning experiences. It is more than reading a story, it is living the story, guided by the teacher's questions as learners create the setting, become the characters, and solve the problems presented through the plot. A compelling narrative helps students find meaning from scattered facts and abstract ideas. Thus, when students are the characters in a story, they become invested in what will happen and how they can shape the outcome of the story. In a story path, every learner has a role, and their role is important to how the story unfolds. Thus, in a story path, students truly are at the center of learning, and their voice matters, resulting in engagement and motivation for learning, capitalizing on students' assets and identities. In this video, we will demonstrate how Storypath can be a powerful tool framed by the compelling question, what makes a livable community? This question sets the stage for an invitation to students to become community planners, the characters in the story, who must figure out the role of community planning to make a livable community. Thus, weaving together their role to learn about communities in an engaging and purposeful story. Let's see what happens in Storypath. Let me introduce you to the amazing 4th grade teacher, Barbara Bromley, Hazelwood Elementary School, Edmond School District in Washington State.
Thank you, Dr. McGuire. I had the fortunate opportunity to implement the Livable Community Storypath last spring. I witnessed my students enthusiastically participating. I know many of those students embraced what they were doing and really wanted to continue working on the project long after we finished it. One of the first steps you do when you begin a story path is focus on the setting. So as a class, we needed to review what is a community and what does a community need. Once we figured that out, we decided we needed to design the community itself. So we had a blueprint contest where students each individually created a blueprint of what they thought Amber City should look like. And then after we displayed them, the students chose the one they felt was best represented what they wanted in their community. After that, they got to choose different types of buildings and or places within the community that they would then become fully invested in. They would design them, they would create them, and lay them out on our road map. All of this happened in a very collective way. Even though each group of students ended up choosing their own building, they came together to create Amber City the way they wanted it to look. Finally, they created slogans for their businesses that they wanted. Some relied on the internet with things like ChatGPT. Others were able to think of things on their own. But in the end, we all knew we wanted to name it Amber City. And that came about from a student named Kevin who loved the color amber, and the class just embraced that idea, and that's how it got its name.
Hello, I'm Kevin, and Miss Bromley held a contest for the new city name. There were many entries, but mine won. The city name that I made is Amber City.
I was pretty excited that Kevin's idea about Amber City got selected. It kind of surprised me that the students picked that. I thought maybe they would pick something that was more connected to the classroom, but the fact that they embraced his idea and rallied around it was wonderful. After you create the setting, the students then become members of their community. So to become a member of Amber City community, you first create a representation of yourself that you add into the city.
I made a yellow body.
I just named him Mr. Brown's Smile.
I made this one long, so it just has really long legs.
After 2 weeks of building the community, we received a video from another class. This video was an example of something called a critical incident in the Storypath program. What this critical incident is something that realistically can happen in the setting that you have created.
Good evening, I'm Jonah, reporting live from Hazelwood Elementary, where a miniature city is causing major buzz. The city? Amber City, a peaceful, pint-sized paradise built entirely on a classroom format. The surprise? It's under a siege. Well, sort of. This week, Mrs. Cosette's 4th grade class announced their plan to take over Amber City, which until now had been carefully run and maintained by Miss Bromley's students.
What we just saw was an unexpected, realistic event. And in this case, it was a video that students could have seen on YouTube or TikTok. And the purpose of having the critical incident is after the students have developed their community, we're about 2 weeks into the process. They're very much invested into what they have created and also with their characters. And what they need to do now is stop and address this incident that happened. It's something they never imagined, and they have to problem solve together to come up with a solution.
I think it's fake news because the city is built 2 days ago and it's still not finished.
It could be fake news from the other class, so giving them a bad outlook on the world. Like the other class, Miss Cosette, I think, trying to give Amber City a bad word.
I honestly think it's fake news because it kind of goes along with Lucy's thing, but I feel like it may be something from Miss Cosette's trying to make us look bad.
I want you to take one of these, and actually I'll pass them out so they're right there next to you. It's called the Feel Wheel, and if it isn't listed, you go ahead and put some other feelings you may have had. Why do you think the other class wants to take it over? Already heard some of you express that. What are your biggest concerns or worries about this? And then there's some ideas of what you might want to do, and you're just going to pick at this point what you think. And then if you could say one thing to the other class, what would it be? Hold on. And I put in parentheses this. Use kind and respectful words. So you have to slow down maybe there's some of that reaction you just felt and see if you can share what you're thinking with kindness and respect.
I feel like they just want to take over the whole entire city and actually not share it.
I would feel surprised because why take ours when you have the advantage to make your own?
We can't really 100% trust them because I feel like your drama might betray us.
Because we need to start a war.
I think we should talk to the class because if we defend the city and protect it, that's not really gonna do anything about. They want to take over the city, and if we just don't ask them why, we just try to protect the city.
If you could say one thing to the other class, what would it be?
Builders, keepers, losers, weepers.
You guys are traitors.
You guys should build your own Amber City. We will defend the city and protect it.
Stop trying to steal ours. Why can't you just build your own?
After we kind of unpacked our feelings about what the class wanted to take over our city, we knew we had to find a way to share with them our thoughts and feelings and come up with a solution to them taking it over.
It's logic. It's just make your own city. How do you turn something so small into something so big?
You have to come up with 3 reasons why you do not want Miss Cosette to even come and take or do anything to our city. 3 reasons. It's called pieces of evidence. After you come up with that evidence, John, you have to then put it in a single sentence what those are, or maybe another one, because you want to make it clear to the city council what they need to think about when they go back and make a decision. So the outcome of the story path was the most powerful piece was that the students figured out that they need to critically look at things that they appear on online media and decide, is it right or wrong? And from that, not only do they take a moment and think about the feelings that they might have when they first see something, but how could they make a difference in the future? So how do you find time to incorporate or include a story path in your classroom? Well, we all suffer from having not enough time, sometimes in resources. But what I have found is that many of the concepts that are taught are integrated into other subjects. And so when I implement this, I'm able to see many of the standards being addressed. Additionally, I find that the engagement and the involvement on the student's part is off the charts, so that when you're preparing a lesson, it just kind of takes its own course and the students get very engaged.